basketball fans, welcome back. So this game, the Kenyan Morans, they beat the Mozambique team and notched their first win after two brutal back-to-back losses against the Senegal team and the Angolan team. The Kenyan Morans came out on top in this game, winning this game 79-62. So let's just talk about this. So this game, right off the bat, you could see the Kenyan Morans started off well. In the first quarter, you could see it was a 19-19 tie. And in the second, you could see Mozambique, they led in the second, but the Kenyan Morans were just right in the middle. But at the second half is where the difference was, as the Kenyan Morans put their foot down and they were able to win the whole second half, both the third and the fourth quarters, which was the reason as to why they won this game. And this was something that was needed, because had they lost this game, they would not have been able to win two games in the second window, which we're going to talk about that in the next videos to follow. So this game was actually quite entertaining and interesting all the way from the start. I know Senegal and Angola, they are the powerhouse teams that run through continental basketball in Africa. Mozambique, I can say they're much more of a dark horse team. They're not a team that has that much expectation. But with the right game plan, the Kenyan Morans came in and executed under the tutelage of Coach Cliff. I know he was under fire at the time when the Kenyan Morans got brutally beat down in two games, which was actually quite embarrassing. So he had to rally the troops and rally the team, and also put good strategies to be able to get this win against Mozambique, which was quite needed at the time. And this game, despite the Kenyan Morans winning this game, they were not the most efficient when it came to shot selection, but they are great in making sure that they are able to get them offensive rebounds and out rebound Mozambique was the difference in this game, because you could see in the defensive boards, you could see the Kenyan Morans, they had 39 defensive boards and 23 offensive boards. This was actually the most offensive boards of the game, and at the time we saw coming from the Kenyan Morans production when he came on the court with the three games that they played. They looked actually quite small when they played against Angola and Senegal, but in this game they used their size to their advantage, which they had, but they didn't know how to use it. And Mozambique, they had like a few mistakes that they had, and majority of the games that we have seen the Kenyan Morans get blown out. It's those little things and those mistakes that get exposed, especially when you play against an elite team. I don't consider Mozambique that elite, because the way they looked in this game, they didn't look like they were that prepared, and they looked like they overlooked Kenya at the time, and that's the reason as to why they lost. But looking at the game plan and looking at the grit that the Kenyan Morans have, even with the inefficiency that the Kenyan Morans had, they were still able to come out with the win. On 2-point field goals, they shot 38%. From the three ball, they shot 27%, and from the line is where the Kenyan Morans stood supreme, as they converted 74% of their total free throws, which was quite needed. And this game was good, especially when there were a couple of lead changes that happened in the first quarter. In the second quarter, there was one lead change, but in the third, you could see it was just a back and forth game. But when it came to the fourth quarter, that's when the Kenyan Morans just pulled away and were able to make good plays that led to the result that we had at the time. And the most shocking thing about this game was the points in the paint. As much as the Kenyan Morans won this game, you could see Mozambique led in points in the paint with 40. So that the Kenyan Morans defense, even despite out rebounding the other team, the Mozambique team, Kenyan Morans were not able to have like a very good, efficient rim protection that was needed. I know that the Kenyan Morans had 5 blocks. Don't get me wrong, 5 blocks are good, but at least try to alter those shots and even alter those looks. When you have like good solid defense at the time, you are able to at least alter like some shots, especially coming from a couple of possessions. So this was actually a very good performance. You can see fast break points, 26 points, second chance points 14, points from the bench is actually quite good at 25. And the Kenyan Morans in this game, they had a biggest lead of 25. And the biggest lead that was recorded was 25. But you could see when it came to the assists, you could see the Kenyan Morans, they dished out the rock pretty well. They had 10 turnovers, so they reduced the number of turnovers. We used to see in the previous two games, they had like a total of 40 plus turnovers. They were able to reduce their turnovers if they took care of the ball well. That was the main result. So going on to a usual suspects. So Victor Odendo and Fahim Juma were listed as DNPs. Fade, he played 5 minutes, but I feel like it was garbage time, so he didn't actually do anything. He only had 2 personal fouls, 1 block, 1 rebound, and that was it. Then going into like our main contributors of this game, this is the first time you're seeing Grifo play. He played 24 minutes, 7 points. I can say this was the first time he was getting his hands dirty in there, so it was allowed for him to have such a performance, but he played a heavy minutes at the time. So Coach Cliff really believes in this guy to give him this much minutes. But Tyler Ongwae, in this game, he had 21 points. He was actually quite inefficient with 16 of 21, 1 of 6 from 3, 5 of 15 on 2-point field goals. But at least he was able to convert. Majority of the points that he was able to get came from the line, and he finished with a double-double of 21 and 16. He had 16 total rebounds this game and 7 assists. If he dished out like 3 more assists, he would have gotten a triple-double. But that double-double was good. Then we got Ronnie Gombe. He had a double-double of his own. Desmond Willie did virtually nothing. He only played 1 minute. I didn't think his services were needed in this game at all. Okal Koranga also did very good, especially when it came to the rebounds and just hustling for those loose balls. And he had 4 blocks. Despite his production offensively or not being the greatest, he was the guy that was their cleanup guy and getting those assists. And he reduced his fouls. This time he fouled a lot. And also Ronnie Gombe, he still managed to foul a lot, but he had 4 turnovers, which was actually quite not good at all. And Valbuza, he had 16 points. A majority of the players, couple of the usual suspects, we had 4 players scoring 10 points or more, which was actually quite good. And it looked like we had a cohesive unit at the time. And sometimes I feel like if the Kenyan Morans played like this against Senegal and not looked frazzled at the start, we will have at least made the game much more competitive, despite even knowing for a fact that Senegal will have beaten the Kenyan Morans. If the Kenyan Morans were a bit more efficient, this game would have been very close and would have been very clutch, because I believe any good team can be beaten in any game. It's just that the right strategy needs to be implemented. And the legacy players, as I mentioned them, they played heavy minutes here. You could see Fahim, he didn't play. Fidel Okoth, this time he was just starting out to play, but he wasn't given the lights or even the green light or even minutes to be able to operate. So majority of the minutes were played again with these guys that were already there on the roster. So even heading into like looking at how they shot, and it came to, just check this one out. You can see in the first quarter, if you look at the missed shots, you can see there were more missed shots than made shots. So we're taking a lot of shots, and looking at a guy like Okar, he's not a guy that is supposed to be trusted to take that shot. A guy like Valbuza, not that shot. He shouldn't be taking those shots here. And that's the reason as to why he's very inefficient when it comes to that. Look at a guy like Telongwa. Telongwa is the only person who is supposed to be given green light at the time to be able to take those shots. Eric Mutoro, he's the guy that he was the point guard, so he needed to at least capitalize on drawing fouls and getting to the line instead of taking inefficient jumpers. You could see Talongwa, he missed the shot there, and that's the reason as to why he shot 6 of 21. So he was not as efficient as you might have thought. And Mutoro, also he was 6 of 22, very inefficient, just short chucking in there. And I'm not sure why he has this over insistence of shooting the ball from far away. I really don't get that. Talongwa, he tried the 3, couldn't get it. Who else? Talongwa again. I think in the first quarter, he was not able to like, score. You can see Okal Karanga, he missed a 2-point layup and he couldn't make it. Who else? Ronald Gombe missed that one. Oh my god. It's just, this is the shots that you need to make. These ones are allowed. If it's mid-range, there's it's near low percentage shot, but this, when you're playing that position, it's a high percentage shot that you must make. Despite, even if it doesn't go in, you need to at least find a way to draw the fouls. But all in all, you could see after the first strategy didn't work, after the first strategy of the Kenyan Morans didn't work, what did they decide to do? After the shots were not going in here, in mid-range to inside, they decided to shoot more threes. And this one was something that I really struggled to understand. Even despite us winning that game, there were many things that went to our side, because if Mozambique were not able to like capitalize on the missed shots that we had and score on our mistakes, they would have beaten us the same way Senegal and Angola beat us, because Senegal and Angola beat the Kenyan Morans due to the main factor of capitalizing on the Kenyan Morans' mistakes and the lack of chemistry of the team at the time. So this is the third time the Kenyan Morans are playing together in a game, and the team was just trying to gel in an actual tournament. So you can see Eric Motoro just taking the threes again. The dude was just, he was 3 of 16. This man was 3 of 16, just throwing. Dude was just throwing. If you ask him what he's supposed to, if you wonder, like, was this guy even selecting his shots? Was he setting up? Was he like looking for these shots? Was he shot hunting, or is he letting the shots come to him? Because this is unacceptable, honestly. Very unacceptable. Not sure why Valentine Yakinda was rising up for the three at the time. Talongwa, he missed the jump. He missed the 3-pointer. Okal Karanga, he has no business shooting the three. No business shooting the three at all. You can see Griffin, he missed the layup. Victor Bosiria, he missed the layup. Who else? Griffin, he missed it. Valentine, he missed it. Okal Karanga missed it. So this guy has been he was 1 of 8 from the field. So very inefficient at all. But he was just our Dennis Rodman in there. Then in the third, you could see we stopped shooting from this side. We stopped shooting from this other side, and he leaned on to one side. And my God, our shot checking, it was just a shot checking affair. And the man that was just jacking up the most shots was Eric Motoro. Look at this guy. He was 3 of 16 from downtown. If the shot wasn't working, why did he insist on he just kept shooting? The man just kept shooting. We were very lucky at the time. Mozambique was not picking up on these mistakes, and they even got their own revenge, and they blew out Kenya in the second window, which you're gonna look at. At the time, the leadership was under Coach Liz Mills. This one was under Coach Cliff, and that's the reason as to why Coach Cliff was the one that gave these players the green light to shoot. Griffin, he shot a 3. Who else? Telongwa, he made a 3. So yeah, I mean, this was the most inefficient that we had, but at least we were able to win the game. And that was actually that was the only good thing that happened. As much as the Kenyan Morans were not as efficient, they were still able to win the ball game. And they capitalized on the fact that Mozambique was not as good as they were in that game. And the rebounding really assisted the Kenyan Morans winning. But when it came to like selecting shots and being efficient in going up on Mata scoring, that's the thing that was the biggest undoing. And it's the same undoing that the Kenyan Morans have right now at the time, because there's no clear number 1, number 2, number 3 option. Everyone is just trying to, I don't know if they're trying to prove themselves or they're trying to like convince themselves that they can play. But this is the main reason as to why the Kenyan Morans struggle against Senegal and Angola. Even despite this win coming in the third game, it really calls to question the level of talent that was there on the team, and also the level of coaching, because you can't have a player attempting 16 threes and only making 3, and he's still playing heavy minutes, north of 30 minutes a game, being this inefficient. This is actually quite unacceptable. And I can say this guy almost shot us out of the game. Not even shooting us out of the game in a good way, but shooting us, making sure that we miss. He missed every single majority of the, not even every single, majority of the threes he was attempting. He only 3 of 16. And half of the shots that were attempted came from him, because there were a total of 33 3-pointers attempted. He attempted 16. Actually attempted more than any other player on the squad, and he's not a 3-point shooter, and he's not even a 3-point maker. So I'm so happy that Eric Mutora is not going to be on the team, and that's actually a good thing, because this guy, if he goes in there, he's just going to like keep shooting and keep missing, because he's not a 3-point maker. And yeah, I mean, there are a couple of players that are not going to be on this roster. I hope to see a couple of new faces in the 2025 Afrobasket next week, and not these legacy players. Legacy player Griffin Telongwa, he said he quit the team. Desmond O'Willy is there, but he's not a guy that you can rely on. Not a person you can rely on at all. Eric Mutora, I'm glad he's not going to play. Or Kyle Koranga, he's going to play, but he's not an efficient player. Victor Bosire, it's unfortunate that this man is named the captain, because there's nothing that he has done to improve his game. He only plays well when he comes to KBF, but when he plays for the Kenyan Morans, he's actually quite pathetic and average. And he can't even get like this guy can't even get a shot off. He can't even score more than 10 points a game. He can't even score more than, not even 10, even 15 points a game. Efficiently, he can't score. Who else? Fidel Okoth. This man has not had a fair shake at all. Hope for him is able to he's having a career year this year, so hopefully he's able to get his shot. I hope he's going to get an opportunity to play, because this man has just been blackballed by the Kenyan Morans. Hopefully he's able to he's able to find his rhythm and be able to play. But if you guys like the video, make sure to leave feedback down in the comments on what you think about this whole situation. My God, this win was needed at the time. If the Kenyan Morans lost this game, man, it would have been game over. So in the next window, there were a couple of changes that happened. Coach Cliff was fired and Coach Liz Mills was hired. And you're going to look at Coach Liz Mills' tenure when she was coaching the Kenyan Morans and the remainder of the Afrobasket. Because this first window was a Coach Cliff affair. And I must say, he did a very pathetic job, and there's a reason as to why he's a loser coach. And he's somebody that you can't win with. He's somebody that cannot be relied upon when it matters. And quite frankly, he's somebody that shouldn't even be given an opportunity to coach a basketball team. Even leave alone even a national team, any basketball team. There's a reason as to why the man got fired by APR when they notched a ticket to the BAL directly. So they didn't want him there. So KPA, I'm seeing that they're trying to experiment with him, and I don't think that he's the right man for the job. I know the KBF cartels are going to go with the person that they want to go with, but honestly, to be quite honest, I don't believe in that guy. I don't think that he's the right man for the job. This is a man who would rather coach the KPA team and not coach the Kenyan Morans team, who have games this very same day. So the priorities are wrong. It's all off. And the Kenyan Morans are just yet again going to be set up for failure again. So I'm going to talk about them and what they're recently doing. But in this video, it was actually quite good to see, in retrospect, looking at the Kenyan Morans versus Mozambique matchup statistically and how the players were able to carry themselves in there. But my God, still, there was a lot of work to be done, and a lot needed to be established moving forward. But if you guys like the video, make sure to leave your feedback down in the comments on what you think. And also, please be sure, follow me on NBAKenya. Hit the follow button if you're watching this on Instagram. If you're watching this on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notified. and smash that like button. Helps me out a ton. Leave in the comments. Get active on the comments. Tell me what you guys think. This is all based on my opinion and also looking at the stat sheet. And I'm out. Peace.